Evening all. Right, earlier on I put up this on my Facebook just to demonstrate how vastly different the forged signatures are from the originals, passport, driving license. And I've had such a response. I mean, it was obvious to me. I generally didn't know what the public thought. So as a response, I want to show you what I believe to be pretty negligent on the part of the lenders when checking these signatures. If not negligent, then they showed no due diligence whatsoever. So that's that document with the signatures on. I'm going to point out along the way a couple of red flags also. So the submission sheet that was given to the lenders from the mortgage broker for my fraudulent forged mortgage, applicant's name Duncan James Purcell. Don't know who Duncan is, but still. Another point, the KYC checklist is, so you can see there my driving license was included as identification, also was my passport, but my passport was never disclosed in the subject access request. It is, you can see my number where it's been scribbled out, and as proof of that is the passport I disclosed out of date 022207560. So there's my passport. I've never had a copy of that. That in itself is a breach of the Data Protection Act. Yeah, I'm not going to bother going into that. So, first document with regard to signatures. First document chronologically. So, it's the underwriter's checklist. Who's the underwriter? What do they do? I checked this, so I'm just going to read the first paragraph of this. What is the role of an underwriter in a mortgage? The most important person in the mortgage approval process is the person you will never see or meet. That person is the underwriter. No lender funds or closes on a loan without the approval of an underwriter. Sometimes her job is to simply check over the figures, make sure all the paperwork is in order and give her approval. Other times she must look over all the paperwork and make a sound decision based on her experience and good judgment. It goes on, but that's enough. So, on the underwriter's checklist, signature ID in brackets matches docs, and that was confirmed on the 25th of the 1st. So they checked that and said that the signatures matched. I'm doubtful. Also, what I'd like you to notice as well, now this was a remortgage. I applied as a part-time postman, and as we are aware from my previous videos, etc., the broker decided to make me a new application form in which he claimed I was self-employed, had my own business, 3 times the amount which I was actually on as a postman, etc., etc. Now you can see there the underwriter has actually written purchase on the top. Scribbled out that, written purchase on the top. I also want to point out for later, direct debit mandate, validation, there's nothing in there, right? So we didn't validate the direct debit mandate, and we'll come to that in a moment. Right, second document, chronologically. The risk approval checklist. Do signatures match other docs? 26th of the 1st, somebody claimed that they do. Self-declaration signed correctly. So, by this time, we know that my original application form had gone, and it was a self-declaration, meaning that I was self-employed, had no accounts to put me on the highest rated mortgage probably that you can get. Once again, do the signatures match the other docs? I don't know. Somebody was a bit incompetent there and there. Right, loan sanction form, information correct. I have 2 loan sanction forms. One of them is for a purchase mortgage claiming that I am self-employed. One of them is for a transfer of equity claiming that I am employed and unskilled. So, there's the loan sanction form. Is it filled in correctly? I don't know. They did 2. Both different, materially different. Third check. chronologically. QC checklist, final mortgages sheet. Signature matches the application form. I don't know about that. And again, so that's the third time they checked the signature, and it was clarified on the 7th of the 2nd, 05. Once again, underneath, mortgage deed, standard security, etc. Document signed and signature matches. No, it doesn't. More QC checklist. So here we have self-employed. So on the 25th of the 1st, they were going ahead with a self-employed mortgage, so we can clarify from that date my application had already been disposed of and a new one put in. Now, when I mentioned about the underwriter validating the direct debit mandate, here we go, direct debit mandate. Original direct debit mandate on file, validated and signed by the underwriter on the 25th of the 1st. Now, as I showed you from the underwriter's document, the underwriting checklist, there is no validation for the direct debit mandate, and I'm assuming when they say validated, they mean is it all there, present and correct, and all the signatures match. Well, there's the signature on my direct debit mandate, which apparently wasn't validated but clarified as being validated, and there's the two signature documents that they put forth as a check. Now, all of the blame appears to have come down onto me. I'm the only one who's lost anything. In all fairness, Kensington Mortgage Company, I paid them about 66.5 grand. They, as I showed on a previous video, they securitized it, which means they had money for it. They've stolen the house, which is worth about 110 grand. They'll sell that. So, I mean, dot them figures up. Plus another story altogether, which I'm not going to go into. Did they actually lend me any money? And I'm pretty sure that they're insured for their losses on things like mortgage transactions also. I did put in a notice to disclose, asking them if they had an insurance policy, and whether they have cashed in on it, but you know, no response. It's not a surprise. So they've had their money multiple times, whereas I'm still wearing the same clothes 5 weeks later. Is that fair? When they could have quite easily, on numerous occasions, at least 3 different people on 3 different occasions could have picked out that fraud at a point when it was totally and utterly out of my hands. I wasn't in a position to check, and by this time it's gone out of my hands. Is this fair? Because it's not just me. Anyway, that's it for now. Only a short one. Thank you very much once again, all the support, all the well wishes, all the help, all the assistance is much appreciated. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.